one of the other big matches, EC3 has made his intentions known. He wants to control his narrative, and he's going to try to put that forward when he faces the man joining me now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. I guess I'll call him the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know how much people recognize that title, but hey, it's a beautiful belt, so why not? It is a good friend of ours that we've seen a lot here in Austin, not to mention 6 years in the NFL, playing for the Falcons and the Patriots. It is our good friend Moose. What's up, Moose? How you doing?
I'm doing great. First of all, I am the TNA Heavyweight Champion, and you sold me short because I played 7 years in the National Football League. So
7 years. I am so sorry. Well, I knew
if
you
he wasn't like pressed for time, I would make you do that whole intro over.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do it in post production. How about that? I'll change it.
All right.
There you go. 7 years. I forget that. Yeah, you had that year after the Patriots. So, speaking of Patriots, I got to ask you because you played with Tom Brady. How weird is it to see him in a Tampa Bay uniform now?
Oh, very weird. And honestly, I don't watch football at all, but I remember this was the first year I was actually looking forward to watching the first game of the season with Tampa when they played the Saints, just to see how weird that would look like with him in another jersey. Yeah,
it's still weird. 3-4 weeks in, it still doesn't look right. So I totally get it. Let me ask you this. You have had such a great run in Impact Wrestling, and you've been great with reinventing yourself. You keep your ear to the pulse of the fans and everything, and you've kind of reinvented yourself. How much pride do you take in that?
I take a lot of pride. I mean, you have to take pride in your work, and I mean, the thing with wrestling is you have to reinvent yourself a lot. I mean, you can't just be one character your whole life, because then you get stale. It's not like sports where if you're good at something, you can just be good at something and do the same thing every year because you're good at it. Like wrestling is different because after a while, wrestling is more of an entertainment thing than a sports thing. So if you give the fans the same character year in, year out, then after a while it's going to get boring or it's going to get stale. So you have to reinvent yourself and find something else that you could do that could be entertaining.
Right. I'm always curious, because I ask wrestlers about this all the time. You've been a heel, you've been a babyface. Do you prefer one over the other?
No. I mean, I could pride myself on being great at doing both. So honestly, it doesn't matter. Just I do it. If there ever is a scenario where I need to be a babyface, I'll be a damn good babyface. But as of right now, I'm loving my run as a heel.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk with Moose. Follow him on Twitter at The Moose Nation, or as you'll see it, The Real World Champion. Speaking of world champions, and I know you've got EC3 coming up. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I got to imagine you have some designs on possibly adding to your gold collection and finding a way to eventually take on Eric Young for that Impact World title.
Right now, I like to focus on what I have installed next, which is EC3. And maybe the next interview after I've taken care of EC3, then we could talk about what will possibly be next. And maybe going after Eric Young or Rich Swann, if Rich Swann can beat Eric Young at Bound for Glory. Maybe going after one of those two guys and telling the fans that if I won it at the snap of a finger, I could also be the Impact World Champion.
Rich Swann has his shot at Bound for Glory. So let's talk about this rivalry you have with EC3. He actually made off with the TNA belt that you treasure so much. Did it feel like you were missing a part of yourself when he had the belt with him?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've built the TNA legacy so much that when the belt was taken away from me, it felt like something is missing. But the weird thing is like now that I have it, I've gotten the belt back. I still feel a sense of not fulfilled. Like it's almost like me getting the belt back and beating the hell out of EC3 on the bridge. Still, I'm not fulfilled. There's something missing. So I guess in Bound for Glory, we'll see if I could get that fulfillment.
Considering you the best, which I know you do, you look at everybody else that has held that title. Who would come after you, or are they all second?
You could pick one. It doesn't matter to me.
So,
I couldn't answer that question for you. I mean, I think they're all great champions that have held that title. I just think I'm the greatest.
Okay, yeah. I mean, and it has had a great legacy from the likes of Jeff Jarrett and AJ Styles to Sting to Bully Ray to you've got a long list of great champions there. But Moose, right now you're there. You're carrying on that legacy. What does that title mean to you as far as its legacy, as far as being the TNA World Heavyweight Champion?
I mean, I think I can answer that. I think it's the most prestigious title in all of wrestling, and I think I've done a great job in building it back because before I brought it back, nobody ever talked about it, and now that's all everybody's talking about in professional wrestling, the TNA Heavyweight Championship. So,
how much do you work towards having Impact Wrestling recognize that title? Because they keep claiming we don't recognize that title. That title does not exist. You're just carrying around a prop. How much have you worked to convince management that this is a real world championship and you are a real world champion?
I mean, obviously they know they can say whatever they want to say, but before my title got taken away from me, how many title defenses did I have on national TV on Impact Wrestling? I believe 4 or 5, and which I won every single one. So it doesn't matter what they say. You got to see. You can't go by what people say, but by what people do. So they could say I'm not the world championship, but every time I wrestled before the title got taken from me, it was a title defense match.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Talking with Moose, Impact Wrestling star, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. So as we've talked about, you're facing EC3 at Bound for Glory, unsanctioned match. This is a different EC3 from what we have previously seen in Impact. The man that twice held that very title that you hold. What do you expect from EC3 going into that match? And again, this is an unsanctioned match, which means anything goes.
Have you ever heard the saying that you take a man from the hood, but you can never take the hood out the man?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's so I say that to say this because you say that this is a brand new EC3. I've never seen this EC3 before. Well, to answer your question, EC3 is still EC3. Just because he now walks around with dirty jeans and a black hoodie and a black towel around his head doesn't make him different than what he was 5 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever the hell he was in Impact Wrestling. He's still the same guy that I've beat before, and on Saturday the 24th, I will beat his ass again.
I love the confidence. You would expect nothing less from the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Moose. I know Access TV has got a lot of specials coming up that week. Is there one special besides Bound for Glory that you're looking forward to? They're going to do the Talking Shop podcast with the Good Brothers. They've got the red carpet. They got the countdown. Tell fans what they can expect from Impact Wrestling Week on Access TV.
I honestly think the fans will have a lot of fun if they subscribe or buy or get any of those specials that we have. But honestly, right now my focus is 100% on EC3.
You can catch Moose as he faces EC3 in that unsanctioned match at Impact Bound for Glory on October 24th. Get it on pay-per-view. Get it on Fight.tv. Moose, it is so good to talk to you again. I was telling you off air that I'm going to talk to one of your former Falcon teammates, Justin Blaylock, for a Longhorn podcast. And so I know you have fond memories. You have a good story about Justin from back in your playing days?
I have a lot of good stories, but I don't think none of them I would like to share because they're like rated R or X-rated stories. So
I understand.
We'll keep them that way.
We don't want anything. We always tell those guys we don't want anything where the statute of limitations may not have expired just yet. So totally get it.
So maybe we don't. Let's just leave that alone. But just know I have a lot of stories.
Okay, maybe one of these days over a beer.
How about this? Just ask me to tell you about the story about when we all went in his house. And he had to drink a gallon of milk to go to bed. Just ask him about that.
Okay, gallon of milk to go to bed. I'm gonna remember that one. I'll have to ask that one.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah. Man, it's good to talk to you. Follow him on Twitter at The Moose Nation, and again, catch him on Impact Bound for Glory on October 24th. Moose, thanks so much for your time. Be well, be safe. All the best to you and your family, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, thank you.
I have a feeling Moose may have been a bit distracted thinking about EC3 because that has been a thorn in his side for quite some time. We will see what transpires this Saturday at Bound for Glory when EC3 and Moose meet in that unsanctioned match. By the way, if you want to see Bound for Glory for free, our friends at Fight TV have given us a streaming code to give away. All you have to do is go to our Twitter page at SGTWATX. You'll see a tweet at the very top that talks about the fact that we've got a Fight TV code. Like it and retweet it. Plus, make sure you follow us at SGTWATX. Follow Fight TV at Fight TV. That's FITE TV. And while you're at it, follow Impact Wrestling. We'll pick a winner at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central on Saturday. And I will notify you via direct message that you have won and give you the code and how to use that code to watch Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory for free.